Today we're going to talk about the Lecomte Stakes. It's on Saturday at Fairgrounds, and this one offers Kentucky Derby points. The winner will get 10 points, and this is a very large field. This will probably take us at least 10 minutes to discuss. And I think one horse that we both like is going to be Silver State. He's 5-1 on the board. And I just like him because I think he's progressing upwards. He dead heated for his maiden win, and then he finished second by a nose to Necker Island in his allowance try. And he has a beautiful pedigree. Steve Asmussen trains it. The thing that sticks out is that Ricardo Santana Jr. had other options in this race trained by Asmussen, but he stuck with Silver State.
Yes, Silver State won by 9 lengths on his debut. And then in his second race, he really lost the race at the start when he had some troubles. And well, then he recovered, but finally lost by a nose. Yes, to Necker Island. Yes, the horse has some routing pedigree. He has the downline of Monarchos. So distance should not be a problem. It's also by hard spum, so he has the pedigree to get the distance. But this time, okay, I think he's going to run well. Maybe he needs another race. I think he would be a serious contender for the road to the Derby. But this time I'm choosing the class of the field. The class of the field is Scabbard. Scabbard has great stakes experience, and I'm drawing a line to his last race because in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, that was a wild race. These horses didn't like the Santa Anita surface. If you look back to his races at Churchill Downs and Saratoga, then you see another horse, very different horse.
Right, he finished second to Green Light Go in the Saratoga Special, and then he finished second again to Dennis's Moment in the Iroquois Stakes. And you could forgive the second to Dennis's Moment because on his best day, Dennis's Moment is really good.
And he finished really strong in the Iroquois.
Oh yeah, I remember he made an early move on the far side, but he ran into some traffic problems.
Exactly. And well, I think this is the horse to beat in this field. At least on Saturday, maybe in 2 months. Okay, Silver State can beat him, but on Saturday I like Scabbard.
My only concern is that he could get stuck in traffic because you know how big the field is, and Scabbard is a mid-pack runner, so I'm worried that he's going to get stuck behind horses, but maybe he could figure it out.
I think he's facing some horses that are running in Alawan's company. And, well, I think he had experience to beat this field this month.
Yeah. Let's move on to Mr. Monomoy, and he's going to get a lot of attention because of his famous pedigree. He's a half-brother to Monomoy Girl, who was a champion filly. And Mr. Monomoy broke his maiden by 5.5 lengths at Churchill Downs, but then he actually lost an allowance optional claimer at Fairgrounds to Lid's Map. You could maybe forgive it because it was on the sloppy track. I'm not going to forgive it, but I think you are.
No. Yes, I'm forgiving him because the sloppy track. I saw the race and okay, he tired a bit in the final meters and lost in the final strike to Leon's Map. Yes, but I think he would be better over a fast surface. Some people think that this horse has some distance limitations, but I don't think so. I think he can. I don't know if he can get 10 furlongs, but 9 furlongs would be okay for him. So at least at this, well, this race is over 1 1/16, so the distance is not an issue to me. I like the post position. I think this horse will be sent and try to guard the field. But he has finished the first and perfect start. I think he's going to take the lead this time.
I don't know. I can't trust him off that race. I think his speed figures are kind of low. On Time Firm US, he hasn't broken 100 on their scale. I know you said you don't believe in speed figures, though. Is that what you said?
Sometimes I think okay, it's a reference. We can handicap only using the speed figures. Horses can run different over sloppy track and fast track. So
Do you want to talk about some long shots? How about Finnick the Fierce on the rail? He only has one eye, and that might be a problem because he's on the rail, and I think his blind eye is on his right side. But he ran well in the Kentucky Jockey Club. He closed from seventh to second, and he only lost by 3/4 of a length to Silver Prospector. I think he's a candidate to hit the board. His handicap is a concern.
yes, I agree with you. I think he can hit the board, maybe a fourth place. I don't know if he can get the third place, but I can use him in a superfecta.
Let's talk about Enforceable, who is surprisingly also 15-1 on the morning line. I don't think that's accurate, but he's 15-1 on the morning line, and he ran fourth in the Kentucky Jockey Club. But he had some trouble at the top of the stretch. He got blocked for a few seconds, and he also ran third in the Breeders' Fraternity. It seems like he's a consistent horse.
Okay, yes, this is another horse that we can use underneath. I can I don't see him winning the race, but I can see him picking a third place or second place. Note that Florent Giroux now is running Mr. Monoboy. He switched from Enforceable to Mr. Monoboy.
Well, jockeys make mistakes sometimes.
Yes. And well, Enforceable, I don't think he will be 15-1. He will be lower than that.
If they get into a pace duel up front, I think he's going to get a clear trip from the outside. And what I like about him is that he has graded stakes experience, whereas a lot of these horses like Mr. Monomoy and Accession and Linsmap, they don't have graded stakes experience like Enforceable does. He's already running, 2 stakes races?
Also, Silver Stakes lacks of great experience.
Well, you make a point there, but I'm sticking with it.
Remember well that this horse is full brother to Mohamed. You think people will forget that?
No, they've never forgotten any of Mohamed's siblings. Okay, do you want to talk about Sycamore Run really quick? I only want to talk about him because he broke his maiden with a 106 on Timeform US, and that is really high for this time of the year. But it was only a 6 furlong sprint on the slop, so maybe it's too much too soon.
I agree. This is too soon for him, and I think this horse would be better over turf surface. I think his dam sire is Stormy Atlantic, and that's mostly turf. So I don't see him running well.
We'll see. I think if it's a sloppy track, well, I mentioned that there's a slight chance of showers. I don't think it'll be sloppy, but if the track is wet, maybe he could improve on it.
And also, the post position is not the best for this race. Also, Link's map is in the far outside. So,
how do you feel about Lynn's map?
If Link's map, the post position hurt him. With a better post position, okay, I would use him, but not on the far outside.
What do you think of the third place horse in that race, Succession? He's also trained by Asmussen.
Spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races to broke his maiden, but then ran well in an allowance race behind Mr. Monoboy and Link's map. Santana picked your horse, Silver State.
Yeah.
So, maybe Silver State is the top horse for Stephen Asmussen in this race.
Okay, do you want to go to our conclusions?
Yes, I'm going with the class of the field in this race, with Scabbard on top. Mr. Monomoy, if he improved in the first quarter of soft fractions, he can guard this field. Silver State is my horse for the future. I think okay, he can win, but this time I think he needs one more race. And my fourth choice is Enforceable, a horse that I don't see him winning, but he would hit the board.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent. But I'm gonna go with Silver State on top. I think that a lot of public handicappers are picking him, but I'm gonna stick with him anyway. I think if he's 4-1 or higher, those are fair odds. And Scabbard is the obvious choice. He's my second choice. And for my long shot, I'm using Enforceable. And those are my top 3 horses.
Are you tossing Halo again? This horse is unbeaten in 2 starts.
Yeah, I watched his maiden win at Churchill, and I don't think it looked good at all. I thought he was under a hard ride to win, even though he won by 4 lengths. And then he won at Woodbine, and that doesn't count for me because it was on synthetic. Okay. Are you tossing him?
Yes, I'm tossing him. He won at Woodbine, and like you said, that is synthetic. Joseph Talamo is riding him. I don't know. That is weird.
Oh, it doesn't happen often.
Yes.
In fact, over the past year, Timeform US says that they have never teamed up together.
He also expects Town out of Unbridled Son's mare. So maybe he would be a miler.
I don't know if he will be a miler, but this is a Canadian bred, so I think eventually they're going to point him towards the Queen's Plate and not the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can close it out now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the Sigi and Reinier show. And don't forget to donate to Sigi's PayPal. And we'll see you next week.
Okay. See you next week.